Me. We've just heard that Terry's mother is seriously ill.
Oh, I am sorry. I didn't mean to intrude, but I thought you should see this.
What is it?
Most of the women have seen it already, I'm afraid. I thought you should know before you go to work tomorrow.
Why do they have to be so cruel?
It's typical. I warned the governor they'd take advantage of that printing press.
I'm sure Mrs. Reynolds had every reason, Joan.
It still doesn't help Terry, does it, knowing that her mother is so seriously ill and then having to read sick jokes like this. Mrs. Morris, would you mind?
Yes, of course. I'll see myself out.
Thank you.
Well, that was sensational. I should have met you years ago. Mind you, I'd be 20 pounds heavier by now.
Glad you liked it.
Where did you get that recipe?
Oh, I whipped it up as I went. Never did go for traditional beef Wellington. Too dull.
Oh, well, that certainly wasn't dull. The sauce was delicious.
Espanol special, I call it.
Pardon?
Espanol sauce with some special Pringle touches. Actually, it's my aunt who deserves the credit, not me. Had a wonderful sense of invention, she did.
Well, I don't know how you do it. Must be a wonderful gift to have. Just a pity more people don't know about it. Just a minute. I was reading about a cooking competition. Now, it was in a magazine. Yes, in here somewhere. Oh, yes, here it is. Listen to this. $3,000 plus a microwave for the winning entry. You send in your recipe, experts evaluate it, and if they select yours, you're invited in for the final cook-off. Sounds exciting, doesn't it?
Yeah, but they'd be professionals.
But so are you, Mervyn.
I'm only a prison cook, love.
Oh, come on. That beef Wellington of yours would be in with a terrific chance.
Nice of you to suggest it, but I'm not in that class, not to compete with all those experts.
Oh, my guess is they're trying to kill us. There's no way this stuff will get all the way through. Probably get jammed up somewhere.
Bit below par for you, isn't it, Mr. P?
I've done what I could. There's no butter, no cheese, hardly any milk even.
Don't worry, Merv. If things get too bad, we might have to roast you on the spit.
Looks like it'd be pretty tender if you ask me.
I can see I better keep my eye on you lot.
Right, toast, it's barbaric.
I read somewhere that charcoal on toast is good for cleaning your teeth, sort of like sandpaper.
Read where to buy a new brain yet?
Knock it off. That's enough trouble.
Sorry, I breathe.
Well, we're sorry you got involved with the newspaper.
Yeah. Miss Ferguson's going to think it's me sent her up because I'm the editor.
Well, you won't be alone, love. Anyone who had anything to do with the paper's going to be in for it.
Oh, I hardly think that's fair. We didn't know she was going to be so irresponsible, did we?
Somehow, I don't think that'll make much difference. Not when the freak gets back. Morning, Joyce.
Morning.
Oh,
Meg.
any word on this car business, Mrs. Reynolds?
I've got Greg looking out for any suspicious-looking characters in case Bullock tries anything else. Here are these papers I was telling you about, at least all the copies I could find so far. I mean, they've been circulated right throughout the prison.
I'm not surprised. Have them burnt immediately, will you?
Yes, I've already organised that.
It's not like Nora to allow this to happen.
Whatever the reason, I'm not impressed. I went out on a limb to get that printing press. They seem determined to abuse every privilege they get.
I took a copy over to Joan and Terry last night. I thought they should know.
It's not as though they've been all that discreet. Even I overheard them talking, as I was saying to you, Meg.
Seem to be the only one in the dark around here. Tell Joan and Terry to report to my office as soon as they come in, will you?
Yes, of course.
Oh, Mrs. Reynolds, I'm afraid the food supplies are becoming quite a problem. We're running very low on some items, processed foods mainly.
How did Mervyn manage at breakfast?
Well, apparently there were a lot of complaints, but he hasn't got anything left to cook with.
What about the emergency supplies? Aren't they coming in?
Well, I rang the suppliers, as you said, but no one seemed to want to help. They all want cash and the guarantee of a long-term contract.
Yes, well, I tried one or two myself. Same thing.
Damn. I'm going to ring the minister. It's about time the department sorted out their own mess. The last thing I need is a prison full of starving women. You should have told me earlier. You do realize you were leaving yourselves open to blackmail? Still, I suppose what's done is done. Now we have to clean up the mess. Obviously, we have to find out who was responsible for it.
Yes, Governor.
I realize there are precedents for relationships between prison officers, but in your case there is another dimension, and I'm worried that the women will take advantage of it.
We've hardly flaunted it.
Yet the women and some of the officers seem to know all about it.
With respect, Governor, rumours like this often get out of hand. Surely the solution is to punish the women.
I wish it were as simple as that. But as governor, I'm obliged to report the incident to the department.
I may be mistaken, Governor, but I have always thought that our private lives
I've
were our
already
own.
decided what I'm going to do, Mrs. Reynolds. I'll be handing in my resignation today.
I don't think we need to go
I've
that
made up my
far.
mind. It's the best thing for all of us.
This is just what the women want. If we let them succeed
I'm
with
sorry,
this, it's...
Joan. I've made up my mind. You'll have my written resignation before lunch.
Now, if you swirl it like so...
I haven't seen anyone do potatoes like that since Switzerland.
They'll never appreciate it, Mr. P.
Well, hopefully it'll keep their minds off the small portions. Now, we have to bake this in a hot oven for about 10 minutes, just till it's brown on top. Then we add the rest.
Which is?
To tell the truth, I'm not sure yet. Has anyone had to look and see how much flour's left?
About half a teaspoon.
Oh, dear.
There's still plenty of rice.
Rice and mashed potatoes. Terrific.
Perhaps I could whip up some sort of special dish. A saffron rice, something like that.
Oh, it's all the department's fault. If they could get someone honest to run things for a change.
So you know what's happened?
Julie told us about the invoices. They're worse crooks than we are up there.
Well, we'd better get back to the matter in hand. Could you start washing those and I'll add them to the rice? And you better boil some water. Add the salt to the water before it boils and squeeze a half a lemon into it.
Come on, Mr. P. It's not your fault.
I know that, but I feel so awful. It's so unfair to all of you.
Well, cheer up. At least you know we won't be getting scurvy in a hurry.
No, Mrs. Reynolds, I never would have thought of doing that.
Do you have some explanation for what happened then? Well,
I don't know, Mrs. Reynolds.
you must have some idea. You are the editor.
No, I don't know nothing.
She's telling the truth, Mrs. Reynolds. It was nothing to do with her.
I see. Take Graham back, Mrs. Morris, will you? I'll finish the conversation with Flynn.
No one meant any harm by it, Mrs. Reynolds. True dinks they didn't.
Come along, Graham.
Well, what the hell's going on? Who's behind it?
Like Daphne said, it was someone's idea of a joke. A bad joke, I admit.
Also a chargeable offence. Now I want the name of the person behind it.
You know I can't give you that.
Flynn, if you think I'm going to sit back and be made a fool of over this, you've got another thing coming. I'm perfectly prepared to suspend all privileges indefinitely for all the women if I don't have that name.
Believe me, it was as much a shock to us as it was to you. If you just give us the chance, I know we can get the one responsible to own up.
I've had enough of giving you the chance. You've completely abused my trust at every turn.
Well, at least hold off just for a little while. If we can't get her to own up, then okay. Clobber us all.
I'll give you 24 hours. If no one owns up in that time, privileges will be suspended indefinitely, and the press will be shipped out immediately.
Why resign? Surely we can ride this thing out. In a couple of weeks, they'll have forgotten.
In a couple of weeks, I'll be settled into a new job where it doesn't matter anyway. Mrs. Reynolds is right, Joan. We can't just pretend nothing's happened. At best, they'll transfer me out to the country somewhere. Neither of us want that.
Oh, hello, you two. Not interrupting anything, am I?
No.
Well, how's everything going?
You mean, how did we get on with the governor? You just can't wait to find out, can you?
Now, come on, that's not fair. I know what you're going through. Mervyn and I had to come under the same scrutiny when we decided to be together.
It's hardly the same sort of scrutiny, is it?
I'm resigning as from today. Mrs. Reynolds has agreed to let me finish up tonight rather than work through my notice.
Oh, you had to resign?
I didn't exactly have to. I thought it best, that's all.
Wasn't talking to get that far. I'm glad I found you all together. The department's finally sorting out the food supply problem. Looking into it anyway. I'm expecting word later today.
And what about the newspaper? Have you decided on a punishment for the women?
Looks as though it was the work of just one person.